Good afternoon. Welcome to the Cincinnati Green Building Tour series, which is hosted by Chuck Lorre in partnership with USGBC Ohio and is sponsored by the Sustainability Partnership of Cincinnati, David Smith, Solar Energy Solutions, and Third Sun Solar. Here's a quick look at today's agenda. Do a little housekeeping and agenda review, partner overview, sponsor and resources. We'll do a tour, including a live tour with some design insights, and then we'll follow that up with some technical insights, and then we'll wrap it up by doing some Q&A in future events. First, let's get started with some housekeeping. Please be sure to mute yourself and turn off your camera to preserve bandwidth. Feel free to introduce yourself in the chat box, add your name, title, company, and location. For best viewing, please select hide non-video participants and post your questions in the chat box at any time during the presentation. If we can, we'll address them then or at the end during the Q&A. And as follow-up, we'll be recording this session and sending it to you with a copy of the PowerPoint. Okay, so just a quick hello. My name is Mary Ellen Etienne. I'm the Community Director of U.S. Green Building Council here in Ohio. We're pleased to work with presenters of this Green Building Tour series to host this virtual platform and to serve as promotional partners. USGBC is changing the way buildings and communities are designed, built, and operated. Here in Ohio, we're working together to advance green buildings in the state. There are well over 4,000 LEED certified projects with over 150 million square feet. Two of our top bragging rights here in the city is that we're #1 globally in LEED schools, and we're #7 nationally in LEED homes, thanks in part to leadership of the city of Cincinnati and their tax abatement program. Thanks for coming today. I really appreciate your support, and now I'm going to pass it on to Chuck Lorre, who will introduce our sponsors and speakers and tell us more about the program.
Well, hi everyone, it's Chuck Lorre. I volunteer with the U.S. Green Building Council, help to promote these tours, and we're lucky to have some very consistent sponsors for our event. The Sustainability Partnership is a group of some of them. Next slide. And so those members are Green Bow. This is Steve Hampton's home on Walnut Street, an architect, and Tony Beck is the construction guy, part of Green Bow. Next, Green Building Consulting is a lead rater in Cincinnati. They did the lead documentation for Dr. Hamrick's home. And this is my business. I do commercial lead documentation and help people pass the lead AP exams. Greener Stock is Heather Curlis's business on Eastern Avenue. You can find recyclable countertops, sustainable cabinetry, all sorts of sustainable flooring there. Green Streets is Ben Haggerty. He'll help people do stormwater mitigation. This is the green roof at City Hall, and they work on green walls. One Small Garden is Julian Gardner's business. She fabricates chicken coops and garden raised beds and other outbuildings from native cedar. Paul Schneider with Pattern Concrete can help many sustainable homes like to use the thermal mass of a finished concrete slab. Paul can help you with that. Greg Tepe with Tepe Services will help you with smart landscaping, irrigation, and lights that don't interfere with the night animals. David Smith is a green realtor with the NAR designation. It helps to have a realtor that knows the value of a lead home and hers ratings. Solar Energy Solutions is Cy Malish. They're very busy here in Kentucky and Ohio and Indiana. And our last sponsor is Third Sun Solar. They did the solar panels on my house. Jeff's been a leader in the solar installations for going on 20 years. So I'd just like to introduce Irene Hamrick with in her LEED Platinum home. Dr. Hamrick is from Wiesbaden, Germany. She's the professor, chair of the Office of Geriatrics at the University of Cincinnati, and her research includes, falls, dementia, home safety, diabetes, and dehydration for our geriatric community. Irene chose this location because it was close to UC. It was on the bike routes, walkable community. She enjoys snow skiing, jogging, bicycling, social dancing, and traveling. And she's second from the right in this photo, where my wife Janet and my brother Tom and Irene had dinner here last week. So I'll turn it over to Irene.
Thank you, Chuck, for the introduction. So I'm going to give you a tour of the house and give you a little bit of the pointers that I have incorporated into the tour, into the house. So I approached a condo builder here on the bike lane to my work, because I like to bike to work. And they worked with me in flipping the house plan to give me solar, passive solar heat. So all my windows are south facing or north facing. I don't have anything west or east facing. And the benefit of that is that in the summer, when the sun is high on the horizon, I get very little sun coming in to the house. And in the winter, when the sun is low on the horizon, I get a lot of sun. And I don't get any sun coming in the summer, when the sun is heavily in the west and east. And there's not a lot of sun in the winter in the west and east. So it wouldn't give me much added heat in the winter. I also have a honeycomb shades. Alexa, turn on kitchen down. And they are Wi-Fi controlled so that I can control them remotely. I had a green-built home in Wisconsin before moving here, and I was able to control, Alexa, stop. Alexa, turn on kitchen up. So you see the honeycomb shades here that give me extra insulation. In Wisconsin, I had a green-built home as well, and used the shades to open and close in the winter to heat up the house and let the sun warm up the house, and close them on cloudy days. And when I spent 2 weeks visiting my family in Germany, I opened and closed the shades depending on the weather, and kept the temperature between 44 and 48 degrees in that house, and never had to turn on the heat at all during 2 weeks in January. And the temperatures got down to less than to -10. So let's see, what else did I do here? I meant to talk about the blue plant. Never mind, I'll do that later. So I'm a big cook. I cook at least twice a week, even though I have a crazy busy schedule as a physician. But I wanted to make sure I had a big enough kitchen for that, and built the kitchen cabinets all the way to the ceiling. I also use it as storage because I don't have an attic in this house and I don't have a basement. So I actually asked the builder to open up the top of the pantry and give me a door there, and I store my suitcases there, things that I don't use very often. I had also asked them to put outlets inside the inside my cabinets, so I have outlets on the outside of the island, but also on the inside, so that I can put my appliances in the drawer and work inside the drawer. So you see the outlet inside there. I have a sensor activated sink that I can use without getting my greasy or dirty soapy hands onto the controller. And the garbage disposal is also Wi-Fi controlled, so I can turn it on. Alexa, garbage on. Alexa, garbage off. So I don't have to activate it with dirty hands as I'm cooking, because I'm
This is
a
Mary Ellen.
vegetarian and therefore cook a lot with vegetables that I have to wash and cut and so on.
Irene, this is Mary Ellen. Some people are having problems seeing your thing. You are spotlighted, but can you share? Perhaps that'll give people a cleaner view.
I did not realize that I was not sharing. I thought
some people can see, I can see, but there are some people that can't. So we just figured maybe that'll resolve it.
You choose speaker.
Say again, Chuck.
Under the view menu, choose speaker, and it will enlarge Irene's view.
Okay. If you, it either says show video participants, non-video participants, or hide them. If you choose to hide non-video participants, that might prioritize Irene's screen. That might be the solution as well. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But
oh no, that's not a problem at all. So let me go next door into the bedroom. So the upstairs is my main living area. Oh, let me just show you the patio right quick. I have a very large patio, which I like, but a very small yard, which I also like. I did not want a lot of yard work. And because I travel a lot, I also wanted somebody else to do the yard work. And that's why I got a condo. So in the bedroom, I have shears up, and I have the lights actually behind the shears, so that I can open the windows at night and still turn on the light without people looking in and seeing what's inside the room. By having the light behind the shears, it does not illuminate the inside of the room, but I get plenty of light in the evening. And I can keep the windows open at night and still have privacy. And of course, the shades open as well in the summer. A large bedroom, a large closet. And my daughter-in-law, who's from Britain, actually said, you really have 4 bedrooms rather than 3, because your laundry room and your closet are big enough for bedrooms. So this is the master bathroom. And when the humidity is above 70%, the fan automatically turns on. And I had the windows up last night and just got home, so it turned on because apparently the humidity is above 70% in the house. I think that's all I need to say here, so let me go downstairs. I don't have a closet door on my coat closet to save on environmental input or my carbon footprint. This is the laundry room and sewing room. And this is the extra bedroom. In the summer, I keep the shades down to keep the house cool, but in the winter, I open them to warm up the house because my windows are all south facing, the big ones are. I had asked the builder to flip the floor plan because the original plans did not have, they only had one small window on the south side, and that was for the kitchen. So this is the downstairs bathroom. I also had handicap grips installed so that it is somewhat handicap friendly. I also wanted the shower to be without a threshold, but that got lost in communication. I have a Tesla power wall in the garage. That is my battery so that I can store the electricity that I produce in the solar panels. I have 27 solar panels, and I have a car charger in the garage as well. I do have a compost bin outside, and I still have paint tape all over because I still have to have my 1-year walkthrough, and there are several repairs they have to do, so I don't forget. So this is my compost bin. I was hoping it would rain today and yesterday, but we didn't get much rain. So I'm going to put the lid on so that it'll stay warmer. And I have a raspberry bush. I plan to plant a fig tree in this space here, but kept it in the pot for right now because of the cicadas. They probably would have killed the young tree. I bike to work, as I said, so I have a couple of bikes, one for backup or for visitors. And let me ask Chuck, can you think of anything else I should include that I forgot?
No, that was a great tour. Irene, you use the app to control your phone or your solar panels. And
That's
it shows
right.
you how you're using your energy and.
Yeah, let me share that right quick. I can do that. Let me see. Let me bring up the app first, and then I can share it with you.
Irene, would you like me to bring up the PowerPoint with those screenshots on there?
Yeah, but let me see if I can share it live.
Okay.
Well,
There's your home page.
can you see
Yeah,
it?
we can see it.
All right,
Oh,
great.
Look at that.
So that is the Tesla app that shows how much electricity the solar panels are making, how much is going to the grid, and how much to the power wall. Currently, the power wall is 100% full because I didn't use much electricity now, having been at work until recently, and it being fairly sunny or partly sunny at least. So if there's full sun, it produces about 8 kilowatt hours with my 27 solar panels. If it's partly sunny or cloudy, it may go down to 0 even, especially in November, December, and January when it's really dreary outside. So let me see what else I can show you. This is a new app that just came on yesterday, so I'm not used to it yet. So this gives me how much I am powered by solar and powered from the grid. And except for January and February, I've always been sending more power to the grid than I've been using. In January and February, I had an electric bill of $56 and $52 respectively. Those were the only ones where I got an electric bill. And I have a heat pump for heat and no gas. And I have a heat pump for water heating as well. I have an induction stove and a convection oven. I think I didn't mention that. So I'm completely electric powered, and I am truly independent because a couple of times they turned the electricity off in the neighborhood because of the construction that was going on. And none of my clocks reset because my power never went out. It just switched automatically to the power bank.
Go over here and then we'll switch back to this other screen and you can go through the photograph.
So in the settings, I have set it to only 10% reserve. So that because the power lines here are underground, so I don't expect them to go down. And this way I'm more able to use the power bank to its most efficient.
So
That's it. Let me stop sharing.
Turn your volume off. And
Okay.
Mary Ellen will give you this call up the
Okay.
slides. So you can talk
Yeah.
about this, talk over that then.
So I didn't mention the casement windows. I had on the south side casement windows installed because they're more energy efficient than sliding windows. They would not allow me to do it on the north side.
Your phone is still on.
Okay, let me mute it.
I muted it. Go ahead.
Thank you. The casement windows, the north side, I could not change the windows on the north side because they were street facing. And the architect said that I could not make any changes to that. But all my casement windows open towards the west to capture the winds that are coming predominantly from the west on the northern hemisphere. If we lived in Australia, I would have them open to the east. I have a Wi-Fi oven, so I have the option of putting my frozen lasagna into the oven in the morning before I leave for work, and then turn it on 2 hours before I get home, and turn it off an hour before, so it'll be ready to eat. I showed you the cabinet outlets.
Somebody mentioned what's a casement window? Well, they open up like a door versus a sliding window. Sliding windows are more they leak more air than a casement window that shuts like a door.
Yeah. So the thermostat is, I installed a separate thermostat because the one that came in the house, although it was it was a eco thermostat, it was not Wi-Fi enabled, and I want to be able to control my thermostat remotely so that when I'm out of town, I can turn the thermostat down in the winter and up in the summer, and then turn it on a couple hours before I get home to have the house temperature controlled by the time I get home. And also just to monitor things to make sure that if it gets really cold, which has not so far in Cincinnati, I can turn the heat on if necessary when I'm away. Oh yeah, the drawer lights. Let me show you that right quick.
Well, there's pictures about the drawer lights
Oh
in,
yeah,
in
okay,
the photos.
that's
So
true.
let's
We
just
can
stick
go
to
through
you can just go through the photos.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So because I'm getting older, I'm 61 now. My eyes are failing. I wanted to make sure that my drawers had lights in them, and they automatically come on and go off when I open and close the drawer, so I can't forget to turn it off. And the same thing with the pantry light; it automatically comes on when I open the door, and it goes off when I close the pantry door. All right. I think that covers all the things I had on the list.
Irene, did you want to talk about the complex itself?
Yeah, it's a system of condos. I don't know exactly how many. There are more than 20 condos in the complex. We all moved in about the same time. They're still doing construction next to me, so there's several more that need to be built. We have a homeowners association and actually have a meeting next week. And they cover snow removal and yard work, landscaping. They do not cover the watering, which I found out when I was out of town. And that's all. Any questions about that, or any questions about the?
Somebody asked a question about what the studs that you used. I think you used a 6-inch studs so that you had lots of room for insulation in the walls.
Correct. Yeah.
So the Energy Star washer and dryer. And these are some of the screen grabs from Irene's phone that shows, you know, that only 1% of her power has come from the grid. So there's the 8 kilowatt array on the south side of the roof. So Irene did have some future plans to install a rain barrel, and she mentioned the fig tree, and she's getting a pawpaw tree from the Cincinnati Relief Program. So if you can plant trees within 30 feet of a right-of-way, the city will give you a tree. So Irene's taking advantage of that Cincinnati Relief Program for the pawpaw tree.
Thank you, Chuck.
So I guess we're turning it over to James.
Yeah, we can turn it over to James, and then what we'll do is we'll come back and have both Irene, Chuck, and James on, and we'll do some Q&A at the end.
Sounds good.
Well, greetings, everyone. My name is James. I'm an intern architect at Green Building Consulting. I hope you can see me and hear me. If you can't, let me know. I'll try to keep it short because I could talk about this stuff for hours, so everybody will keep me honest. So one thing, Lead for Homes is really good. They have a checklist, basically, a way to manage the project. It's not just like a snapshot. It's a snapshot plus planning. Why not plan for something before you just go build it? It's really a benefit of Lead for Homes versus a lot of other green programs that I see. Everybody likes to see the points here. That gives you a little bit about how we got there. We needed probably 80 some points for platinum. Some of these knocked them out. It's really good. There's also some really cool things we did uniquely here beyond what the builder left off. So Irene is definitely the expert in some of the energy and atmosphere stuff that she kind of pushed the builder to do. So yeah, next slide, I think. So some of the highlights, this was a real compact, sensible, like right sized, I hope for you, Irene, design. 2 bedrooms, 2 bath. You saw the very large great room / living room, kitchen, and all that, around 1,500 square foot. It kind of indirectly led to lead points. Of course, more bedrooms usually is good for a lot of green programs. It's more occupancy. It's less building you have to do to accommodate those occupants. That's a green measure in a way. A little small amount, but permeable landscaping and that compact development by the civil engineers and landscapers and all the people to help design the community led to some points as well. Like she mentioned, she's got a great access for transportation. There's a bike network as defined by LEED close to this home. Resources, open space, very connected site, max those points out. It really helped. I mean, if you can just pick a green site to start with rather than, in the middle of a forest, virgin land somewhere. So 10 out of 10 points on that. Love to see it, The
That's
builder and I,
outside the door.
yeah, it's great. The builder and Irene specified low water use fixtures, high efficiency. Also, their water sense is a benefit of the program. All the fixtures have to be EPA water sense. And I like to focus on water sense, really. It's not just low flow, but the water sense program does other things. It has customer surveys about the cost of the fixture, how the people like it, the durability of it. It's a great thing for anybody to look into for your home or where you're moving. You can get water sense labeled fixtures.
One thing to mention, Andrew Sauter asked a question about what water points Irene didn't try to pursue. Typically on a platinum home, you'll often see homes have a cistern where they've got a 5,000 gallon cistern. Well, that just wouldn't be appropriate for this incredibly
Correct.
small footprint. So to answer your question, Andrew, we don't have a cistern. A rain barrel
Correct.
will be plenty of water.
Yeah, if somebody has a barrel that I could repurpose to a rain barrel, that would be great. I don't want to buy one and add to the trash in this world, but if somebody has one, I would love to get it.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big thing that was real popular around here is like make your own rain barrel. And you could go to the, I forget the name of the garden center around here, and they would help you make rain barrels out of, trash in some cases, or barrels of this, barrels of that. So yeah, I mean, anybody work for that, just look out how to do them so you have them as a safe, non-mosquito, non-pest
Right.
gathering device. So there's a way to do them. Also, there's specifications for lots of materials. For this one, for example, we helped guide them to Owens Corning EcoTouch and Knopf. I forget how to pronounce that. I might be doing it wrong, but EcoBat. They met LEED's criteria for environmentally preferable products and earned points. And also the paint was low emitting or VOC levels that met the criteria. I think there was a few other materials. Didn't show them all here, but yeah. Next slide. So here's the big one that I could, as I'm the lead energy modeler here at GBC. I did this model and I collected a lot of the data about the home at the preliminary stage. I worked with lead Green Raider. I think I'm missing a slide. I might come back to it. Mary Ellen, there was a slide describing GBC. Maybe that one is one I want to talk about in a minute, but I can talk about wherever.
Well, you look for that.
I don't see it. I didn't see it.
Oh, okay. So I'll come back to that. While I'm here, now everybody move around. So one thing GBC was, the missing slide, I'll try to recap it for you, is we are an independent third party verification, education, consultation. Maybe there's another term we use, I forget, but company. The power of that is for programs like LEED, programs like this, which is a HERS rating, Energy Star, a lot of other ones. We are not the builder. We are not the HVAC contractor doing that work and saying, yep, you're good, you're green, or your ducts don't leak. The power of a third-party verifier cannot be understated in today's home build industry. Part of that is we were the HERS rater. The HERS rater visits the home and they are trained by HERS rating program. It's accreditation. And if you've never heard of HERS ratings, your homework, hersindex.com. In short, it's an energy sticker for a home, sort of a miles per gallon, to use that metaphor. Lower is better, not higher. Think of it like golf scores,
And Irene's score is one out of 100.
Yeah, and I wish I had a better graphic, but look down here in the lower left. That's kind of what we see the industry now is the higher is worse. You can see in the red, that's existing housing stock around 2 or 120, 130, etc. The reference home, a little bit complicated, around 100. New construction might be 70, 75-ish. A high performance home might be 50, 60. Passive house, if you've heard of passive house, is kind of really big over in Europe, starting to get big here, might be in the 30s. Due to the highly insulated home, 2x6 studs, R19, R3 rigid all the way around, continuous, and a lot of other measures I'll show you in the next screen. We got the load down low to why not reduce the load before you add solar, so you don't have to add 50 panels. You were able to add 24, 25. Now we ended up with the solar almost being functionally, or probably functionally, near net zero with a HERS score of 1. A really good job with the whole team here, thinking about the whole picture, not just doing whatever and slapping 50 solar panels on it. Siding helped, the insulation helped, and then the solar is basically allowing you to be regenerative to a point. So next slide. So I've mentioned some of these, and Irene's already expert on a lot of them here, but high efficiency windows, the specs were great. The operation is what the homeowner wanted, which is good too. All electric use to take advantage of the solar. Why not? I mean, it's a big thing called electrification. Look it up. I've got great guides for it. Like really looking at the fuel usage in your home. As you move more to electric only, there's a lot of benefits to that, from getting away from gas, other stuff. So
Irene doesn't have any fossil gas. at
yeah,
her home.
high efficiency air source heat pump for conditioning. The most efficient way right now to heat your water is what's called a hybrid electric heat pump water heater. So it's kind of the same way you're conditioning your home, but you're heating your water. Very efficient. Lots of options for doing the heat pump operation versus the electric operation. Part of what we do as the independent third party for this program is we test the ductwork when it's done. We test the tightness of the home. A couple ways to do that. We do a blower door, which is a picture on the next way, and we are able to pressurize the home and pressurize the ductwork and see how much it's leaking. Less than 1%, that's a metric related to the size of the home, ductwork is leaking to the outside. And the home itself was very tight, less than 3 ACH. Air changes per hour. Think about that. That's every time you condition your home that many times per hour, that's either going out or the outside air is coming in. Code right now is literally just changed 2 years ago to 5. So very tight home. And before we go to the next slide, a very tight home needs something. It needs mechanical ventilation to make up for that. You say the home has to breathe, and it does, but we need to control the amount of breathing or mechanical ventilation so we know what it's doing. We are testing it, and it's done to a certain standard that's been accepted by the industry. It's not just, let's put 2 fans in here and you'll be okay. So we did all that. Next slide. Yeah, and Irene mentioned the humidistat controllers. That's also an extra level. It helps kick on the fans even more so when it gets humid. That's the lower left picture right there. There's a picture of the fan, the filters. I think it's MERV 10, maybe. Yeah, better filter than most, can help too. She replaced the stock thermostat with a Wi-Fi one to give even more control, monitoring, functionality, remote use. And then part of what we do is part of the Lead for Homes program. And a real benefit of that program is you have to be verified to comply with Energy Star standards as part of the Lead. I think that's that slide. And again, that was my spiel. I wanted to say the stuff that I'm missing though. Yeah, we're Cincinnati based, but we're also kind of wide reaching. We have a branch in Cleveland, a branch in Knoxville. We've worked in all those states around in a number of states. Lead for Homes, Energy Star, HERS ratings, some general consulting, other green programs. By the way, if you're looking to build in Cincinnati, a great benefit right now, and you probably heard of it, there is a Lead for Homes tax abatement from the city. So it becomes a really nice, very almost easy exercise to see you spend a certain amount of money, you will get a tax abatement for a certain amount of money. So that almost around here subsidizes half the measures that you're going to be building. Oh, I have to do this for Lead. Well, maybe, but that cost is being mitigated by that, and you're getting other benefits for those things. You do these things that may cost a little bit, but you are maybe lowering your energy. Maybe you're having healthier air by doing an ERV, all kinds of stuff. So that was a little spiel about me and my company. I think that's all I had. I'll look for some questions.
Yeah, we'd
Really
like to
exciting.
open it
Appreciate
up.
the
Oh, I'm
chance to
sorry.
talk here. Sorry, I was just saying this is a really exciting example, and I appreciate to talk to Gush about all these cool things I like to work with. So,
Well, HERS rating of 1, this is functionally a net zero home. And all of my studies from 2007 on in Cincinnati, this is the first net zero home I've seen. You know, I've been waiting for passive houses to be built, and some of them are still being built here in Cincinnati, but none of them have been certified. But this is truly a phenomenal home to put all the pieces together to be off the grid. The house is off the grid.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of our best 10 at least. I'm sure maybe the best 5 HERS scores we've seen, and we've been doing this kind of consulting for a decade and a half now. So it's really aspiring, I think, to work with them.
Chuck, did you want to open it up to answering the questions? I have both James and yourself and Irene on camera.
What brand stacking washer and dryer did you get, Irene? It was in a question.
You know, I bought those 15 years ago and moved them with me across the country. So I think they might be Samsung. I don't remember. But let me go downstairs and look.
Fantastic. Okay. There were some other ones too. How do I figure out what my home's HERS rating is? Maybe James, you could take that.
Oh, that's a great question. I was starting to answer some of these, but I'd rather just talk about it. Yeah, so any home really can get a HERS rating. It's not just for new construction or here or there. What you need is you need to be contracted by a HERS rater, and we are one. If you wanted to explore that, you can reach out to my company. The HERS rater, it's a little different. Existing home, of course, your existing home is done, so you could get a HERS rating on what it is pre-work. If you wanted to see the before and after, you could do a HERS rating just to see where you are, and part of that's kind of an audit. I had another point. I'm not sure, but if you are getting a new home built pretty soon, you definitely want to gauge your builder and your project team and designer and architects to get a HERS rating done. It's easiest to get it done when you're being built, and we can, help guide you to your goals or mechanical goals, HERS score goals, design goals in some cases. One thing that's really good about the HERS rating is we do 2 visits. There's a visit called the TBI, thermal bypass inspection. That is after the installation is in, but pre-drywall, so we can see, oh, is this installed properly? And then, of course, the one at the end is a visit when the whole home is done, and that's got a lot more testing. So, yeah.
I had a green home, or I had a home that Green Building Consulting did a heat map of the home. Is for an existing home, you take thermal images and it can tell you where you might have some air leakage problems. Green Building Consultings did that for an existing home, but a HERS rating is really the miles per gallon standard for homes, and it's starting to get more value among realtors and other homeowners to look for that number. So Irene, there's a question about the HOA legally allowed to prevent higher efficiency casement windows.
I was surprised at that too. They also would not allow me to eliminate the window in the closet because I did not want it bleaching out my clothes, but it's north facing, and I'm going to put some more darkening shades in there as well. But yeah, they would not allow me to make any changes to the street facing side. It was quite
and they may have been getting some historical street facing point. There's other things that builders need to do to try to preserve some of the Italianate architecture style of the Cincinnati, which the streetscape seems to pick up on it, but I'm not that familiar with it.
That wouldn't play a role here in this new condo division. The other thing I had done that I forgot to mention is that I asked them to insulate my garage as well for extra insulation. Plus, it just makes the garage warmer when it's really cold. And in Wisconsin, it was an issue, but here it doesn't get that cold in the winter.
And somebody asked if the garage door is insulated.
No, it's not.
But you can get insulated garage doors.
And if I lived in Wisconsin or Minnesota, I would, or in Alaska, but here it doesn't get that cold. The washer and dryer is Whirlpool, and I just looked at Consumer Reports 15 years ago when I bought them, and those were the best rated at the time. But just look at Consumer Reports and they rate all kinds of things, including energy efficiency. But you know, I haven't used the dryer in years because I just hang out my laundry when it's nice and it's just me. So there's not that much that accumulates.
Just look for an Energy Star appliances, lead gives you points commercially if you have 90% Energy Star appliances in your project.
Chuck, I think there was, I don't know if you answered this one about the roof. What wall and roof
Yeah,
sections?
what is the R value? I think the R value in the roof is 38. Do you know what the studs are, James?
Don't have that handy. It would be on that Energy Star, or not Energy Star, the HERS sticker. I think we did 38 back then. That was pretty common. The new code now for Ohio is 49, but your home probably was mostly built before that or permitted, so probably 38, I believe.
Yeah, if I had to do it over again, I would not go with the vaulted ceiling because I do lose a lot of heat there. The house in Wisconsin was much more, much tighter and more energy efficient. It just did not lose as much heat as this one does, and I was very surprised.
Chuck, there's a question from Andrew. I work for a property management company. We've got 16,000 units. I would love to hear more about any products, fixtures that you think are cost effective for saving water, energy, etc., and that we could implement broadly as we turn over units to new tenants.
Well, interesting. Yeah, I think either Chuck or our company probably have different comments on that you can probably talk to both of us. I'll let Chuck talk in a minute. I say some things we can do is we can coach. Residential is our forte. I'm not sure what you're saying, if that's going to be residential or something else. There are tax abatements, the 45L. There's also a sort of commercial, but also residential version of that. Also, it depends on how your property is and how many units, and if it's residential or if it's residential slash multifamily, a whole bunch of other things. There's a lot of work out there for identifying like renovations and getting tax credits. So yeah, if you wanted to reach out to me, I could put you in touch with our president, Paul Yankee. Might be able to get you some information from you. But in general, yeah, products and fixtures. New Energy Star, like her washer, is good. Energy Star labels can be gotten on a lot of things, dishwashers, refrigerators, clothes washers. Another one, like I said, is WaterSense. WaterSense is good for showers, toilets, lav faucets. All those could reduce the amount of water. So if you're a management company, that's less sewer fees. If you are a management company that pays for the hot water heating, that's less payment you got to pay to heat the hot water, It's less strain on the water heaters. Some of that too. One thing we didn't talk about today, I'd love to hear Irene if she could comment on it, is her lighting. I think she did 100% LED, but yeah, if you've got any old properties still incandescents, upgrading those to either CFLs, compact fluorescent bulbs, LEDs, new fixtures, reduces a lot of energy for a little bit of a cost. So if you're having to pay the electric costs for the residents, that's something. So there's a lot of measures you can do with certain costs that help pay off sooner. Chuck would be a good resource for a lot of other things that I just didn't comment on commercially. So you got anything for that, Chuck?
Chuck was, they got bumped off for a second, so he probably will have to rephrase, but
I was going to mention about the water efficiency for that 1600 condo complex. I would definitely install a cistern in that system. And you capture the rainwater and then utilize that at least for landscape irrigation, but also for gray water. My parents used a cistern to flush the toilets in the house, and that they did that 50 years ago.
Now you can't do that in Cincinnati. We're looking at gray water use. They won't let you do gray water supposedly,
not?
but it's complicated. We could talk about
Oh,
that forever, but
another thing, that 16,000 home complex could have their own independent solar array, save the money from installing it on every home, but
I think it was 16,000 over a large space, just to clarify, but another question, does the heat pump based central water heater work out to be more efficient than an under the sink heater?
yes, absolutely. So in short, I'll give you a little tidbit that, a normal water heater that's electric tank, like those, the little small ones, they have an EF, energy factor, of around 0.95. The same metric for a heat pump water heater, EF of around 3.5 or 3.55, somewhere in that range. So, and it's kind of the same testing metric. So you can literally see that, yes, that's the shortest way I describe it. But the other way I can describe it is a lot of things. It gives you a lot more functionality, from using the electric coil part of it to the heat pump part of it. And depending on the water use, you can tell it to use more of this, or I'm going on vacation, so use this, or I don't need it for a while. Yeah, heat pump water heater is the best way for electric fuel. And behind the scenes in the energy model, you can see a lot of cool things that I won't get into. Like, yeah, the energy model gets real happy when I put those in there versus, a normal electric tank one, and some other ones. If you want gas tankless is also the second best in terms of efficiency. Also good. Apples and
Yeah,
oranges in a way, but
I did some investigation on that, on the comparisons before I chose the heat pump water heater. But the benefit was also that I can Wi-Fi control it with my smartphone. And when I'm out of town, I just turn it off, and then I turn it on a few hours before I come home.
That's fascinating. I just wanted to thank you both. James, there was another question maybe you can answer in the chat from Judith. And then I just really want to get a kind of a bow on the whole thing and ask Irene, in terms of lessons learned from doing this project,
Lots of lessons learned.
Yes, yeah, please feel free to share.
So I wished I had put in more solar panels, because I think I could have gone down to 0 in January and February. But I was told by the builder that I could only do this many. And then when they installed it, I'm like, there was room for many more. So
any happy accidents, something that came out that you're really pleased with how it turned out? I would assume the one hers is a point of I mean, it would be nice to be 0, like you said, but
and I'm very pleased with the heat pump water heater. It is plenty efficient. And the same thing with the heat pump for heating my home. Some people recommended I not go with that because it gets quite cold in Cincinnati, but it has been plenty for and I'm very cold natured, I'm thin, and 84 degrees is my favorite temperature in the summer. But I get plenty of heat from the heat pump in the winter.
well, thank you for building one of the most amazing homes in Cincinnati. I've seen a lot of 10,000 square foot LEED platinum homes that are all tricked out, but they never achieved a HERS rating of 1. So it's really a fabulous style, the right footprint, urban environment. It exemplifies everything that's wonderful about the home of the future.
Oh, the other surprise was my induction stove. I had never had an induction stove before, and it is amazing. It's faster than gas. It is so nice. And, you don't burn anything on the stove because it doesn't get that hot. So it's much easier to clean. Yeah,
oh, and by the way, the induction stoves, I've seen surveys on them. Like I said, electrification so much less interior VOCs, pollution, combustion
Absolutely.
products are
Right.
basically saved from being produced with the induction. Really cool. And by the way, the one thing people don't like about them is you can't see if they're on. Some of the new ones now have like a fake LED blue light. So you have that visual sight of it being on. That's what people like about gas. You turn on, you know it's on. This new technology, new way of doing the induction ones, I really see it being a huge thing to win people over to, you know, some of the real concerns people have about induction. But yeah, can't recommend them enough. Really cool.
Okay, fantastic. Well, really appreciate, I mean, what a stellar home, and we appreciate your time, Irene, and obviously all the love and care you put into this. It was I'd say a labor of love for sure to go through this process. So thank you for sharing your home with us and the lessons you've learned through the process.
Well, it was a lot of fun to use my creative side, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
Oh, no, we appreciate it. It's our pleasure. And thanks to Chuck for hosting this series and bringing us Irene. This has been fascinating. And thanks to James, of course, for offering the technical side of things.
So we have two more green home tours this year. The one in October is a modular home in Evanston. And then the one in November will be a lead home in Clifton that the Green Raider was sole design. So look forward to having you all come in on those.
Absolutely.
It'll be virtual.
Do please join us for those, and feel free to, again, reach out to Irene, Chuck, myself, or James for any follow-up information. Obviously, this was a quick hour, went fast. I'm sure you have other questions. We'll be sending out the recording, but if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. And we just really appreciate our sponsors, our attendees, Irene, Chuck, and James. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time and talent. So thank you for
Thank
sharing.
you.
Thank you.
Great. See you all
Thank you
later.
all.
Next show.
Bye-bye.